Welcome to the most authoritative hour on TV. It's The Pulse. We are live from our studios in Kokomlemle on your digital terrestrial TV because we're free to air on Go TV channel 144 and DSTV channel 421. This is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Coming up this afternoon, whatever you do, let the truth stand tall. That's a call from the Dagomba chief to the three-member committee investigating the Ejura disturbance that left 2 dead and others injured. We are in Ejura with all the updates in a while as the Center for Democratic Development charges the committee probing the killings to respond positively to public criticism by redirecting its focus. Also this afternoon, some teachers have been picketing at the GES and NAT on the issue of their promotion exams as they are prevented from entering the NAT headquarters. We're live with some updates from our reporters on the ground. And in Tema, police arrest driver of tipper truck for crashing into a toll booth at the end of Tema motorway, leading to the loss of 1 life and injury of 5 others. We have our lenses wide opened for all the details. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. We're also streaming live on YouTube and all our social media handles. You can also tweet at me. The handle is the Nana Aisha. Stay tuned on The Pulse. We are coming right back. Let's start with education and go live to the NAT Hall, where some teachers have been picketing about their examination, demanding answers from their leaders. And they say the Ghana Education Service has to answer questions on their promotion exams. Let's go live to the place and speak with Kwekwa Sante for the very latest. Kwekwa Sante, is Kwekwa Sante there? Tell me, what's the very latest on this picketing?
Teachers have today come under some intense fire. Some teachers gathering from all across the country have met here at the NATO. They faced some sort of resistance before they were allowed in. But the backstory is these teachers in their hundreds picketed at the Ghana Education Service headquarters over their promotional exam issues. Few years ago, the Ghana Education Service introduced the concept of promotional exams before teachers can be promoted. Some of these teachers said they took the exams, but they've had issues because Ghana Education Service or the examining body claim they have failed. And they do not agree to that. And so they picketed at the Ghana Education Service to demand answers. The Deputy Education Minister met them and assured them that their concerns will be heard. And so all through that was a bit peaceful until they all marched to the Ghana National Association of Teachers headquarters, the NAT Heights, to be able to meet their union leaders. When they got there, the doors were locked on them. They were prevented from entering. There were some push and shoves. Some of the teachers tried to push the entrance to try and force their way inside, because to them, they do not see how they should come here, and the union, which should be speaking to them, will close their doors on them. And so finally they were allowed inside to be able to meet the Deputy General Secretary. They said they wanted to meet the President herself, Madame Philippa Larsen, and General Secretary Mr. Thomas Musa, for their concerns to be addressed. And so it took a while before they were allowed to come inside. But they've been in for a while now, and they've been trying to get some answers. Let me try and speak to some authorities. You spoke quite passionately about the issue.
Yes.
What is your issue with management or your leadership? What are they doing that you don't like at all?
Our leadership is like, when issues like this arise, they are quiet. They are quiet. So we have taken it that maybe when they go there and they sip their palm, then they are quiet. They are not saying anything. We shouldn't be fighting this fight. It is not our fight. That is why we put them there and we pay them to talk to us, to help us on issues like that. But they are quiet. Since this issue happened, then they told us they have given the GES 48 hours to resolve the issues. That is the end. They are sleeping over it. So we lost confidence in our leaders. We could see that they have nothing for us. That is why we want to use force on them to work. That is it.
But What can you give me the backstory? What exactly is the concerns? What concerns do you have yourself?
Myself.
In regards to the exams, what happened? The
exam, we all take it that the exam there is something fishy going on, or there is something fishy that went on. Because when you write exam, you are expecting only 2 results. That is failure and then pass. This time, three messages came. And then we, those people you are seeing here, are the people they have given the verification that we should bring our particulars for a verification. That when they were downloading it from the portal, some came blurred, some they cannot get it. So we should bring them for verification. And then they gave us a message that, or a text message that we are through with the exam, just that they need our particulars to, promote us. Then when we send the thing, we send the thing not even more than 12 hours, and then they ask us to recheck again. Then they say we have failed. So we have seen that we lost confidence in them. There is something fishy going on. People failed, and now when they check, it is congratulations. So if there is a problem with the portal, they said they made an error. If there is an error, the error cannot target only few people. Do you get my point? That means everything they send out there is faulty. There is problem with all the messages they distributed out there, including those who passed. So our problem is either they give us mass promotion or they reorganize the entire exam because we lose confidence in them. There is something fishy going on. People are passing back doors and they are passing them. Yes.
Sure. So today they've been meeting leadership of the Ghana National Association of Teachers to speak to them. Some of them have actually been threatening that they will form splinter groups if their leadership does not address their concerns. You've met the Deputy General Secretary. He's been trying to explain certain things to you. Are you satisfied with what he's been telling you so far?
Well, to Mr. Afedu, I think this one is a little bit okay. I wouldn't say that we are okay with it because when we came, the way they received us, they've apologized. But we won't say that we are okay. We are waiting for Musa himself to come and address us as a union or as a group. That is all that we are waiting for. Before Musa is the one supposed to speak. Musa is the one that we are waiting for to come and then address us.
And the Musa you hear is Mr. Thomas Musa, the General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Teachers. When the teachers came here, they blame him particularly for failing to resolve the issues that they have complained about for so long. They are demanding that they are not going to resit the papers in question. Either they give them a mass promotion or they reorganize the entire examination for them to take, as some of them have themselves articulated over here. And so now that you are all living here to your various homes, what are you expecting Ghana Education Service, the Ministry of Education, as well as your leadership to do in the immediate?
As for Mr. Musa or not, we've given them 1 week. We need a better response from them. We give them 1 week to come and address our issue. If not, then he must step down with Madam Philippa.
And we were told that the GS that it was our own leaders who came to suggest to them that we should resit the exam. We don't know if they went to suggest to them or they suggested and they have accepted it. We don't know. So what we want to say is we are not going to reset any exam. What we want is our promotion, and we are giving him 1 week to resolve this issue, or else we will force him out of the office. They will mount the office and do our own thing.
Right. So these teachers say they do not understand why they themselves have to come all the way from their various school posts to come and demand that the Ghana Education Service, the Ministry of Education, do the right thing. They say this is a fight that their unions, the Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, as well as the Coalition of Concerned Teachers, CCT. There are 3 unions in the education sector to fight for. And so they are giving their leadership 1 week, a 1 week ultimatum to fix their issues, or they will call for their resignation. And so, like I told you earlier on, Aisha, the backstory is these teachers took a promotion exams. Some of them, most of them were told that they had failed and have to retake the exams. They say this is not something they are going to do. They've had a number of battles with authorities here, especially when they were refused entry into the Ghana National Association of Teachers headquarters to be able to meet their leadership. They say they pay 25 cedis and sometimes 30 cedis every month to the association, and they want the association to fight on their behalf. But for the association to go and meet the Ghana Education Service and agree to reset the exams is not something that they want. And so They are still here. They are trying to get some answers. Aisha, let's see what comes of that.
Asante is my colleague monitoring this picketing. Kweku, have you been able to get some responses from NAT officials, especially Mr. Thomas Musa, who they accuse?
Right, so when I go here, especially when the teachers were not allowed entry, the doors were locked, they had to push and push, as in some of the visuals I've sent, you'd see it. I tried to contact Mr. Musa to be able to have an understanding of what exactly they are trying to do. I did not get any response. I tried other executives of the NAT that I know over here. I did not get a response. But early on, the Deputy Education Minister, Reverend Intim Fojo, met these teachers at the Ghana Education Service headquarters and explained to them that he is particularly new at post, but some of these issues had come to his table and he had heard exactly what the teachers were complaining about. And so as soon as they are able, they will resolve these issues for them. So he's asking them to go back to their posts and go and teach, and that they will resolve the issues for them. Some of them say they've come from all across the country, very far. They actually report of one of their colleagues was coming here and had an accident on their way. And so they say the risk that they have to continue taking to come here is not something that is worth the while, and want government to immediately take action to address their promotional exams. We actually heard the story of one woman that said she's been teaching for 28 years and had no promotion whatsoever. Whenever she took the promotion interview, she did not succeed. And so when these exams came, she thought this exam was something that she was going to take, it was going to be fair, only for the results to return that she had failed, a result she disputes currently. And so far, NAT authorities have not given us any response, but we've heard from government through the Deputy Education Minister, who says these concerns will be looked into and addressed very promptly.
Colleague Okweku Asante there will be monitoring this and bring you all the updates. This is The Pulse. We take a break. We have more when we return. Welcome back to The Pulse. Now, whatever you do, let the truth stand. That's a call from the Dagomba chief to the 3-member committee investigating the Ejura disturbance that left 2 dead and others injured. Grandson of the chief, Murtala Mohammed, was among the 2 who died from gunshot wounds after a standoff between the protesting youth and security agencies deployed to maintain law and order. The protest was triggered by the gruesome murder of social activist Ibrahim Mohammed, also known as Kaka, late last month. The committee is investigating circumstances that led to that protest, the role of the security agencies, and the effects of their reaction. Speaking through an interpreter, linguist to the Dagomba chief, Abdul Wahab Al-Hassan, said his grandson told him he was buying food, but later got to know he had been shot during the protest. He wants the committee to allow truth to reign.
Da na fita shi na iske cikin sarakan Ejuran nan na kwante ne.
Also, after I went out, I saw one of the chiefs of Ejura, that is the Kunti Hine of Ejura.
Shi na ce mishi ya ga abin da ya faru ko.
I told him that, have you seen what has happened?
Shi ce mini ya gani.
And he said, yes, he has also seen it.
Amma mu bidin manya mu zo gidan sarki.
But we should find some elders and come to the chief's palace.
Don shi mun je gidan sarkin nan muka gamu da sarki.
So now we went to the chief's palace and met the chief.
Can he please tell us which chief?
Wani Sarki.
Sarkin Ejura Nana Hwediye.
Well, the chief of Ejura, Nana Hwediye.
She tambaye mu me ya kawo mu nan.
So Lord, he asked of our mission.
Shi muka ce mishi abin da ya faru Ejuran nan shi kawo mu nan.
And we told him that we came there because of what has happened in Ejura. Now,
gaskiya ya gwada muna shi sarki ne, shi shugaba ne.
but he told us that he is a chief or an opinion leader. Now,
Ya yi fira da mu, firan da yi da mu ne ya advise mu ne.
Lord, he advised us
Kaman kan mu je mu attack one police.
that we shouldn't go and attack any policeman.
Kara je a attack one soldier.
We shouldn't go and attack any military man.
Kan mu sa laws nan annun mu.
We shouldn't put the laws into our own hands.
Shi advice ne zai ba mu kenan.
That is the advice he wants to give to us.
Shi mu ma muka gode mai da ya samu na lokaci da ya zama shugaban Ejura na sarkin Ejura ya samu mu na lokaci ya ji abin da muka kawo mu.
Lord, we also thanked him for having listened to us.
Shi da muka bar wurin ni kam fita wurin nan in kai gidan nan an doki kanina Abdul Nasir an kai gida.
Lord, before I got to the house, my brother's body had been conveyed from the hospital to the house.
Ohementeria, our man on the ground for the probing of the Ejura killings, joins us live on Zoom. Ohemeng, we know wife and cousin of the late Kaka gave their testimonies to the committee. Let's start with his wife and the demands she made.
Thank you, Aisha. Today, the family made a U-turn. They had earlier indicated that they will not appear the committee, but today, Sahada Humu, the wife of the late Ibrahim Mohammed, also known as Kaka, appeared before the committee. She was actually supported or joined by other members of the family, the family's spokesperson and some other members who were in the auditorium to give her the moral support. And before she testified, the committee made it clear that they are not probing the criminal aspect of the death of Kaka, but this is a fact-finding committee tasked to investigate the clashes in Ejura and report same to government. So based on the committee's recommendation, the government will take action on this. So the committee chairman did indicate that the committee was not in a position to force Sahada Humu to give testimony to the committee, but even if she so wishes, then her account will be taken into consideration as she testified before the committee. And she agreed that indeed she was prepared to testify before the committee. And when she set the ball rolling, she started by telling the committee that her late husband, a fashion designer by profession, has died after attack on him. And even before then, he has one or two occasions told her how some people had threatened his life at a particular spot in Ejura that the community referred to as base. The base are places where the MPP youth in Ejura meet and discuss issues that they think of national importance and of significant importance to them and their party. So at one point, when he went to one of these bases, then some people threatened him. So she is privy to every detail about what her husband does. And anytime the husband goes out and anything happens, he comes back home to report to her what actually transpired. And when the committee probed further as to whether the husband named the people who threatened his life, she told the committee, yes, the husband did say he was at a point threatened and warned by some members of the MPP for making the party unpopular, but he couldn't tell exactly the people who were behind this. The husband did not give her names, so she was at that time, at a particular point in time, unable to give names of people that probably might have threatened the husband. And then the committee probed further as to what time the attacks and then the warning came upon the husband's life. She revealed that before the MPP's primaries in Nigeria, these were the periods under which her husband was threatened. And then she gave account of how a woman in the house at one point in time on 26th of June woke up her up whilst she was asleep in her bedroom to tell her of an incident in which she is believed to have witnessed the attack on her late husband. So with the testimonies all that she gave, the committee at the end of the day, prayed that and also commended her for the courage that she gathered and then the wisdom as to how they communicated to the committee at this particular day's meeting. And then they also encouraged her to continue to be strong, and whatever she told the committee will be taken into consideration. For instance, the one that she said about her 5 children left behind by the late Ibrahim Mohammed Kaka, with the eldest being 19 years, and then the youngest being 2.5 years, Aisha.
Let's look at Kaka's cousin's testimony. It appears that there are concerns over where he was when the shooting happened. I mean, what was the confusion? Yes,
Abi Wakas Umar was the last witness to appear before the committee adjourned sitting to tomorrow at 10 a.m. His testimony appeared from the onset that indeed he didn't witness the clashes or the disturbances in Nigeria. But later, after he has presented his testimony before the committee, then the committee, came up with a video which suggests that Abi Wakas Umar was around, even when at the time that the youth in Nigeria had, started rioting in the community. But later, then the committee chairman and the committee members took turn to advise him, especially the chairman, hammering on the fact that they required the support of all the citizenry, the members of the public in Nigeria, to help them with information on the clashes. And he particularly said the members of the committee are not magicians, conjure information, but they will rely or depend on the community members to support the committee with information, so as to make information available and then make these recommendations available to government, so government can also act. We're listening to his testimony, and then with the videos played later by the committee, there were 2 separate videos, one of which he was, gave an interview to JoyNews reporter Erastus Asaredonko, and then firstly, whilst he walked down on the streets of Nigeria. But he did, when he first appeared before the committee, he said, one, right from the cemetery, he went to a particular mosque to pray, and from the mosque he went home to sleep, not until 4:30 p.m. when he woke up. Even then, he put his phones on silence. So when he woke up, he probably have missed a lot of developments in Nigeria. But later, when these videos were played, and he was asked to answer where he was at that point in time, and as the members of the committee took turns to give advice on how he could have supported the committee's work, at a point I saw him nodding his head, indicating that probably he was in agreement with what the committee members said. And later he tendered in 5 video recordings to the committee, one of which was the late Mohammed Ibrahim Kaka, directing traffic in the streets of Nigeria, And then the first one being a video. Unfortunately, the sound was so poor, I couldn't even hear exactly what Kaka was saying. But I could see Mr. Abi Wakas Umar shedding tears and then using his handkerchief to wipe tears from his face. The committee members at that point had to console him to be strong. And then as he was trying to remember the death of his late cousin, Ibrahim Mohammed Kaka. So at the end of the day, what I pick as a journalist was that Abi Wakas Umar made his testimony so simple than what committee members thought it was until they started playing some of the visuals and then question him along that line, which he said all the videos that were played by the committee members at that time was when the clashes had started, but he did not witness the incident where the soldiers arrived and started shooting into the crowd to the point that he had to go back to his room and take some rest. Aisha.
Humanitarian is a member of our security desk and our man on the ground. Meanwhile, chairman of the three-member committee, Justice George Kingsley Kumson, says the committee is only interested in the truth.
Suna magana, suna dem maganganu. Bamu yada.
Lord, they were just talking and shouting that we will not understand. We will not agree.
Yes, and you also said the military, later you saw the military coming and they stopped. They started firing. Did you see what happened before the military started the firing?
The Nagan Susuna Zuadi, the Suko Kusa, the Yutuna.
Lord, when I saw them coming, and when they got closer to the youth,
she nagasuna gudu. Su Yutuna gudu.
The youth were running away.
Since you were present when the military arrived and started firing, can we find out from you whether you saw any member from the youth throwing stones, sticks, or whether you heard anyone fire a gun from the crowd?
Mangawani ya wulga dusiba. Mangawani kuma ya halba bindigaba.
Lord, no, my Lord, I did not see anybody throw stone, neither gun or any missile.
All right. You said that the police came to the cemetery with their water cannon vehicle. Evidence has been led here by the police that they were invited to the cemetery by the family of Kaka. Did you get to know of this?
Nde sun yi wannan ma ni ba na wurin. Kuma ma ban ji sun yi wannan ba.
Lord, if the family of Kaka invited the police, that I cannot tell.
Thank you.
Because I wasn't there.
Away from Nigeria, body of a 2-year-old girl has been found dead in a drain after going missing for 3 days at New Estate in the Obuasi municipality of the Ashanti region. Mmafati's body was found without anybody cut, though the suspicion her tongue was cut. Families is suspecting foul play and counting on police to fully investigate the matter. Nanaya Ojima has more in the following report.
The body of the toddler was found in a drain on the outskirts of the town. According to eyewitnesses, the body looked fresh, suspecting she might have been murdered the very day she was found.
After examining the body, I noticed the tank was cut, but the body itself had no cuts. Since she was in the drain, some suspected she was carried by flood water. But from the body, I don't agree.
Apart from the tank, on Wednesday, 7th July, the 2-year-old played with friends in the neighborhood as her mother went to the mosque for the evening prayer. According to the family, her mother could not locate her upon return. Efforts by a search party to find her were unfruitful. Father Abdul Karim is suspecting foul play in the demise of the child.
We were called to come identify a child's body in the drain. It was her. It looked like the person dumped her, suspecting the rain, which was about falling, will carry the body. It can't be that the floodwater carried her away, because it hasn't rained since she went missing. It only drizzled today. The person deliberately dumped the body in the drain, hoping she's carried away by the water.
Police have since deposited the body at the morgue as investigations are underway. Nanaya Ojima reporting.
Election observers in the West African sub-region have raised concerns over fake news on social media. They are urging governments to take action to stem the tide. Some nations have already been forced to suspend various social media companies in an effort to deal with the matter. Speaking at a two-day workshop on the challenge of misinformation, chairperson of the West African Election Observers Network, James Lahai, called for action.
Issue of misinformation, I normally refer to it as lying. Lying to the people, moving away from the truth. And this information, taking the truth and trying to twist it to throw people into confusion is on the increase. It's now a very, very, very big challenge that we must acknowledge and plan ourselves on strategies of how to combat it. There is also this issue of the courts in the elections. It is good that we are coming to share our experiences from our various countries. But let me just give you a bit. After our 2018 elections in Sierra Leone, 10 members of parliament lost their seats as a result of petitions. That is normal. What probably is of concern is that by-elections were not conducted for the people to decide who should replace those members of parliament, but rather the court said those who came second should become members of parliament. Some of those who came second, when you looked at the votes they scored, appallingly very low. So it was actually the courts that we are sending in the members of parliament to represent the various constituencies these guys were coming from. And so I would agree with Kojo that this workshop is very timely for us to come together and look at this concern collectively and then see how we can collaborate, coordinate, and maybe even partner with other sub-regional organizations and see how we can face this challenge head-on.
Director of Policy and Advocacy at the CDD, Dr. Kuja Sante, says government must find a fine balance between dealing with fake news and not stifling free speech.
I mean, you already seen examples of government shutting down internet or social media platforms. But if you recall in my speech, I said that the challenge is really how we strike the balance. I think everybody recognizes both the threats but also the opportunities. If you think of it in economic terms, if you shut down Facebook, the number of people who have just generated businesses or rely on that platform to do their trading is huge. So the benefits are there, but the threats are also there. So how do we strike a balance? And that has to do with not just the government, but also the platform, those who control the platform, like social media, Facebook or WhatsApp, and having a discussion as to what should be the best kind of regulation to ensure that we are not overwhelmed by the threats, and then we can take advantage of the opportunities.
He's also been giving some advice to the probing into the Ejura killings. He says they must respond positively to public criticism by redirecting its focus. He explains the main task of the committee is to unravel what led to the death of 2 protesters to ensure that those responsible are punished.
I think you recall that during the elections, even the Ghana elections, we had similar incidents which led to the death of 5 people. The reality, and this is not just a matter in Ghana, but it is something that is consistent across Africa, and maybe for the last decade, that the incidence of protest is increasing. And maybe that has not been established scientifically, but it has to probably do also with the demographics that we are dealing with. Africa has one of the youngest, populations, so it is expected that governments and security agencies should expect that maybe that form of expression of dissatisfaction with any matter is going to continue. So what then the security agencies, the police, the army, should begin to understand is how do you deal with that kind of expression of dissatisfaction? They cannot use the same old methods. I always make the point that when Ejura was happening, Abobloshi was happening, and yet we didn't see deaths in Abobloshi, because the way you approach a protest is different from how you deal with armed combatants, and so on. So the police have to have, it probably will require different personnel to deal with those kinds of expressions than we are used to. It might not always be force. So I think that there's a challenge, I think, for the Ghana Police Service, for the security agencies generally, to get better prepared for this type of engagement, and maybe learn from where protest is common. There are countries where there's almost always protest, but you don't get this level of fatalities and so on after that.
Are we handling the aftermath properly? There are those who have already expressed concerns about the work that is being done by the committee.
Well, I think that we have to be constructive. It is very important for the people of Ejura, but also for a lot of people who are watching how this matter is going to resolve, that the committee gets it right. So I think in the first week, the people have raised a lot of concerns, even to the extent that the family of the gentleman, Mr. Ibrahim Mohammed, who was killed, had decided that they were not going to participate. I think that it is an opportunity for the committee to listen to those issues and reset themselves, so that they can complete the work successfully. So I am looking forward this week to see if we are able to still get back to, the main business, which is establishing what led to the deaths of 2 people and the people who were injured, who is culpable, so that, after that, the government can follow up and apply the sanctions where necessary.
Let's now go to Tema, where police have arrested a driver of tipper truck for crashing into a toll booth at the end of Tema motorway, leading to the loss of 1 life and 5 others injured. Police says the driver did not sustain any injury. Tema MTTD Commander Chief Superintendent William Asante says the driver will be charged with careless and inconsiderate driving.
Okay, so sir, we've seen some fatal accident here this morning. What really happened?
I was told that a car stopped to pay the toll for the toll. And this car we are seeing now crashed into the rear side. Now the driver involved, the tipper truck driver, is in our custody. He did not sustain any serious injury. So he's now in our custody. We are going to question him, then invite the testing officers to also test the vehicle to know the cause of the accident. Our layman's view tells me that there was no brake failure.
There was no brake failure?
No brake failure.
How do you conclude on that, since you've not done any investigation?
At what distance did he discover that the brakes are not working? I've interrogated him myself. Where he wanted to pass, there was a car parked there. So he decided to go to where this thing was empty. Then the saloon car also happens to be ahead of him. So from where he was and where the saloon car was, it was a short distance. So he couldn't save the situation, but rather driving into the saloon car. That was what happened. It wasn't any brake failure. If it was brake failure, at what distance did he discover that the brakes are not working?
So if it wasn't a brake failure, what then is your suspicion there?
Careless and inconsiderate driving.
Careless and inconsiderate driving?
Yes.
Would that be the charge against you?
Yes. And now that one has passed on, we are going to add another charges.
Which is?
Which is now it's fatal accident. Fatal accident. So either dangerous driving or careless and inconsiderate, but a life has been lost. The two are almost similar, but the dangerous driving is a bit severe. We have to forward the docket to AG's office, so they will prepare the charges against him.
How soon would that be for the docket to the AG's office?
Within a week, it will get to AG's office, but when it will return from AG's office, I cannot assure you.
An eyewitness, Ransford Odoi Tete, alleges the tipper truck driver was dozing off. He says the driver first hit one of the cleaners of the toll booth, who is said to be deaf, running over his legs. That's not all. The truck then rammed the rear of a saloon vehicle, which had stopped to pay toll, and later crashed into the booth, destroying it. The injured persons, including driver of the tipper truck, are currently receiving treatment at the Tema Regional Hospital. Ransford Tete narrates to JoyNews what may have caused the accident.
Ahead, na tipper truck with the full speed. Ebe sound me to me to so. The now he nearly knocked me. Because now always I've been careful because of the way I'm driving to me. Share me mirror no. Me riding mirror na me who say speed out there by no. My nye way abe we me say obebo me. Me say speed na air cause when me so me as late contain na me baby chance we do to butun why this speed? But me who say na autonko I was still an echi. Until the main friend ya the other side mirror no the glass no down. Me fra kra no onti enti me hu say na otonko no ankasa enni ne ho so enti dia me hu say na me hu sin na e ba no ti na moto no sare a wonti me start say me blow sare a ho na me kikem ti say nya sa na me ye anka obekun krofo bebre e wa ha no mo enti enu na scarcing krofo kakra but afuto kakra me de be man say this tipper truck no anaju nyina mo ye adwuma enti se be ya anka ban regulate eyibi mo mo say omu pe two drivers ofi se wa brea na ba ko afa ana so omu nya two drivers so ofi se wa brea kacha o supervisor na o boss say ma bre se na mito nko na se na ma ye adwuma na juno me na rest na nkofa attention bi amba because they see no nyame na meka say abem sa anka nkrofo obekun wa hanom na guy na ofa ne so na ne nine epeche no onu no emumunti mi bro stare na e bro ho na me kikem nya no ono no is like na so no onti papa nti ono wantumi andwane. That's how at the end echo by
was someone in the toll booth as well.
Now obi won ba no we mpra no we mpra no yes ono we mpra because me kikem na me bro salary no na me paka no but me who say still no onti me kikem nya boyfriend no me who say ono no onti Jamaica no nti speed na all day ba. So in the first place, now I was thinking, say, we fairly break. But I realized, say, no, Tonku, and you break now, we fairly. So if it was breaker, Anka has said, because from the top, Anka saw to me the ball, pillars, you were no more. But what I seen is that he was dozing behind the steer.
The Terrorist Minister also visited the accident scene and later checked on the injured who are currently receiving treatment at the Tema General Hospital.
Well, it's terrible, you know. I don't know whether you have been to the accident scene. It's a terrible situation. This is something nobody expected, nobody contemplated. As accidents occur, when people are not aware. Perhaps that's why we call them accidents. It's so unfortunate, it's so regrettable. We have lost one of the collectors, and there are 4 more, who are hospitalized. And out of the 4, 3 were in a private car that was involved in the accident. But we are not separating them from our own. Once they were involved in the accident, we are looking at all of them together. So once they having lost consciousness and they are talking well, normal conversation, I assume that bearing heart might be happening to them internally, at least from the surface. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
You said that you are taking care of them. Is that
Oh yes, of course, yes.
Putting their bills?
Yes, no, they are working for us and working for government of Ghana, and unfortunately they have been involved in this accident. Yes, government, is prepared to take care of the bills. Yes, they were working for us. The victims, they suffered the accident. They were involved in that accident, if you like, in our operational area. You understand, through no fault of theirs, lawyers will tell you occupiers liability.
But finally, looking at the situation, the tow booth, how I'm sure you've been to the accident scene. Only see the debris. Going forward, will the ministry review strategy in ensuring how tow booths are being protected? Because the individuals were in there, and then the car came to crash them.
Yeah, of course. For safety measures, nobody can say that, what might have been done in terms of safety is absolute, and we keep on reviewing our safety strategies and measures. If you get to the tow booth, you can see for yourself that, a lot of safety measures, have been taken, a lot of them, but for accidents, it will occur when it will occur. But of course, like you said, we learn from mistakes, we learn from such incidents. The police had been there, the MTTD regional commander himself had been to the place, and his team. Obviously it has just happened. We are going to get a report.
That's live on the Pulse. We'll take a break. There's sports coming up, and it's packed. Stay tuned in. And it's time now for sports. England ended the Euro football tournament yesterday with a defeat to Italy in the final. England's journey has been very steady but significantly successful, especially at the tournament. They were just unlucky to have lost it only in the final. That notwithstanding, they seem to have achieved a significant feat that puts them on the launch pad for greater things in the near future. A decently young squad, promising stars, and a strong desire to excel. They even have a strong support base in Ghana, as witnessed during last night's game against Italy.
Well, I'm disappointed with the English coach. Tactically, technically, had it wrong, because playing against the Italians with 6 defenders, I think he had it wrong, because the Italians dominated the game. Even in previous, if you look at the last match of the English team before this match, they were playing like tiki-taka. That is, I was expecting them to do so, but today everything is zero. Everything is zero. They did not play anything, so the Italians deserve to win. Because with the Italians defenders, Bonucci, Cellini, because they could not even penetrate. Look at Sterling, it's out of the game. Even this their striker, Hurricane, is a passenger. He could not play anything today. I was surprised. So he should have even brought this guy earlier, Grizzly, to support the attack. You understand? But he had it wrong because I'm very, very disappointed with the coach.
But of course, we can also give them some credit for fighting all the way to that stage. I mean, for a long time, they haven't been here. I think there's some cue we can take from England for building.
It's when you are playing a tournament, when you are able to reach to the finals, means that you are capable of taking the cup. Because the reason why I'm saying this, when I watch the English team, from the beginning, they conceded only one goal before this game. You understand? Since the beginning of the tournament, they conceded only one goal. But today, they conceded another one, makes two. They did very well. So I was expecting them to, because for a long time, I don't remember the last time English team won this match, this tournament. I was expecting them to win something. So in fact, I'm supporting the Italians, but I want the English team to win. I'm very, very disappointed.
They had a lot of chances.
They didn't get any. They didn't play anything. Madam, don't support them. The coach is zero. This is what I've seen. The coach is zero. They did not play anything. Let's congratulate the Italians. They did well.
They did well. But I'm saying that England had chances to score the goal, but they couldn't do it.
What I was saying, if you heard me well, because the Italian defenders are very ruggish defenders. That is why I mentioned two players. They play from the youth side. Bonucci, Cellini. It's very difficult to penetrate. You see, those Sterling and so on, they are always turning around. They could not even penetrate to shoot. Because the Italian goalkeeper, he was on holiday. If you witness the match, you could see that he was on holiday. He could not even save any dangerous ball. Means that the Italians deserve to win, madam.
Thank you.
You're asking about the Black Stars.
Yes. What cue can we take? I mean, how can they take cue from this match?
Black Stars, we need
performance of. I mean, even if it's Italian, what cue can we take from this match to make sure we also get there? It's been too
Ghana, we need good transition. We need good transition. We need the tried and tested players. Even apart from that, when you look at our under 20, our under 23, especially even the local league, look at now the love is coming back. People are going to the stadium. When you look at this year Premier League, though Accra folk have already taken the league, but I was happy they did well. When you look at the league that we play, the coach has to select some of the local players to have a competition in the national team. Always those foreign-based players know that when they come, either they were on the bench, they are playing on the bench. When they come to Ghana, they will play. So they are not serious. He has to give them challenge. Sika Kona has to be serious. When you do that, we get a good team because the talent is here. You understand? Look at even the Kamaldeen, look at Kudus, look at this young chap that just signed for Liverpool. You could see those players, the coach has to do good transition.
So this is a supporter of Italy, but was really anxious to see England win the match, and he expressed some disappointment. That will end their 5-decade trophy drought. Their development opens up the space for countries that have been struggling to take a cue from their development plan to improve their football. This afternoon, we explore what Ghana can do to bring the Black Stars to its days of glory. We have our football experts, Gary L. Smith. George Addo Jr. is joining us from London. Hello, George.
Very nice. It's great to have you.
It's a chaotic afternoon. Is it?
Absolutely.
Is it the same in London?
I think it's good. I think the post-mortem is ongoing. A lot of people are complaining and still discussing whether Guy Southgate did the right thing or not, whether the boys could have done better. But it's all been overshadowed with the racism, chants and racism stuff that's ongoing across social media, really. And we've also just had the indication right now that Guy Southgate is not going to extend his contract with the English national team. He says he needs a break of a sort to think about it. This is not the time to extend his contract. So, and he made another important note that he wants to leave, or he doesn't want to outlive his time with the national team. That means he's going to try and leave at the right time. We've always said that it's good to make your way when the applause are the loudest. So we don't know if Guy Southgate is saying bye-bye to the English national team, because today in his press conference, he kept saying this team can do well and we have to believe in this team, almost like he's trying to say bye-bye to everybody. That's the latest news that's coming. But so far, London is cool and chilled. We are home, but without the football.
Gary, but I mean, if you had the gentleman who spoke there, he kept insisting that the coach should be blamed for what happened to the England team because he packed defenders onto the park. And I mean, that really, how did this play in their loss?
Well, I mean, before then, like I said this morning on the AM show, the England coach has brought them this far. In the 2018 World Cup, he got to the semi-final, all right? No matter what method people say did not work yesterday, it has worked for them and done them incredibly well. Okay. So you don't change your winning team in any facet of life. If it ain't broke, you don't fix it. Okay. Right. So let's lay that down. So yesterday, yes, he may have packed the defense, especially when he had scored first. His team had scored first. Yeah. But as they say, hindsight is always 20/20. You know, at this point, it's all ifs and buts and maybes. And they did their best, as he has said many times in all the press conferences, and they did their best. You know, every decision that didn't work should be placed at his doorstep. So if he had won, we would have been calling him a juniors. Such is the world. So yes, he was a bit too defensive. Yes, he could have been more attacking, especially because they have a lot of talent. Okay. You know, but yeah, it's happened.
But guys, I think we should just tap them in the
pat them at the back.
Pat them at the back because I'm told that they've actually exceeded their target, because their target was not actually to win this game, but to prepare for 2022. And that explains why you saw a lot of very young people compared to the Italian players. So I think there's a cue here, trying to build a strong team after, I mean, all these years not winning that cup. There's a cue here for Ghana. What's that cue, Gary?
Well, they took a leaf out of the Germans' book. So the Germans in 2006, when Ghana, you see how the world works. When we were starting to go on a high in 2006, and then in 2010, we reached dizzying heights. Germany were starting their rebuilding process also. Their rebuilding process took them 8 years until 2014 before they won the World Cup. They did exactly what England did. So England decided, if it has worked for our brothers, the Germans, let's do the same. So what did they do? They set money aside, a lot of money aside, and they had a 10-year development plan. Okay. That included starting from the bottom. You know what they say, grab them young. So they went countrywide and changed the entire psyche of English.
And that really played in yesterday's match.
Exactly, which you saw. So just because this is not a hardcore sports show, in brief, they had an emphasis on children having fun when they are playing. Okay. So that when they go to playgrounds and they see 8-year and 10-year-olds, the emphasis is not win, no. Okay. The emphasis is at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, we want you to have fun. Okay. We can start loading you with the tactics and things when you become a teenager, because it is only when you have fun that you can assimilate properly. Then they also decided that for children to have fun, the pitches have to be good. So they invested more than £100 million. Think about it. Okay. And guess what? Last year, the English government and the English FA said that money they had invested, the £100 million, is not enough.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes. So they have pumped some more.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes.
So this is
it's not an accident.
A lot of resources, devoted to building this strong squad.
Yes, and most of all, the 10-year development plan 10 years ago said that their aim was to reach the semi-final of this tournament.
Okay, so they exceeded their target.
Officially, they have exceeded their target.
Wow.
And to win the World Cup in 2022. Okay. So yes, they've exceeded
so definitely, so even though they didn't win the cup, I mean, there's a lot we can learn from them. George Addo Jr., people listen to you on Joy FM. Gary also, and with your fantastic commentary on the game. I mean, for you, what's the cue in here for Ghana?
Yeah, Gary has said it all. The important thing to note is that the under-17, the England under-17, under-19, and under-21 have all won top laurels in this space, and you're adding what the national team has also done to it. You can see that from 2013 till now, when they sat down and decided that we need to build something, we need to start it all again, and it's always a gradual process. They are kind of arriving because they have the St. George's Park big one there. And if you look at the whole strategy, it's not even only about the footballers. They're also hoping to get a lot of good coaches through the system as well. So I'm sure very soon we'll see some very good English coaches also getting the opportunity to work out in there. It's a great plan that has helped them. The only question is, one, are we as a country committed to pumping as much into football what we say is the passion of the nation? Are we committed to doing that? If we are committed to doing that, then government says that, okay, I'm taking over Pram Pram. I am raising up these facilities so that for the next 7 years or 8 years, I want to see development of players. So we are going to pick young boys from the ages of 8, 9, 10, 5, 6. Before any parent will release a 5-year-old or 9-year-old to you, you must have a very good facility. You must be sure that you're going to take care of them. You must be sure that you have good teachers. You must be sure that there's education in the package. So it must be a proper approach. And this one can be done with money. The last time when we spoke at the Ghana Football Forum, ahead of the Ghana Football Awards, the 3rd edition, Dr. Kofi Amwa, who has seen these things happen elsewhere, says government must pump $300 million into football for facilities.
Okay.
Now, it looked like it was, it looked like it was a crazy thing. Initially, when he said, I'm like, hey, then I thought about it again. He made another point and said, yes, $300 million, pumping that into football just means you are not going to do 2 or 3 flyovers. And the kind of returns you get in 10 years when your players are moving left, right, center, that's what you see. Because remember, aside the team playing in this final, look at the players. The number of players who are going to be sold to the Bundesliga, who are going to be sold to La Liga, and the entire returns it brings to England. You have no idea. The money they have pumped in, they're going to get it, really. And it's the thing that we must pay attention to. Because look at the youngsters. Look at the youngsters. These boys we are talking about, 21, 20, 22, 23, they have a long time to play football. If Chiellini at 36 has come to win this one. So I just feel that, look, if we can relax and have a plan, that's the thing. Have a plan and do it well. Not have a plan and not go according to the plan. We just have to stick to it because that is what everybody is trying to do around the world. Trying to start from a point and raising it up before you can come and compete. It's not just wake up, win cup and go home. Because you can wake up, win the cup and go home and you won't be back. This is the 3rd final Italy have come to, and it shows you that something is working. Something is working. We must
something is working. And let's talk about the issues that people are also raising about the fact that our love for Black Star players who also play for outside teams who do not really put their heart in the matches. Why don't we home grow the people from Hearts of Oak, from Great Olympics, from all these local clubs and make a great team?
Right. So it's a very common question with a rather simple answer. That the Hearts of Oak have just won the league. So presumably they have the best team in Ghana, presumably, on paper. Can you take that Hearts of Oak team and let them represent Ghana at the next African Cup of Nations?
I'm not sure.
Why? Because the quality is not good.
Okay.
So it's as simple as that.
Okay.
By Ghana standards, they may be good. But immediately you pit the same Hearts of Oak team, they will start playing the African Champions League, the African version of the European Champions League. And I mean, you will see the story.
Okay.
They may be good for Ghanaian standards, but immediately you pit them against the best in even West Africa, you will see that we have a long way to go.
Okay.
And that is it. So it's like we see at Multimedia here. When you are presenting the polls, present it as if, or present it in such a way that if we put the same program on the BBC, people will say, oh wow, this is good. Are we aiming for local champion standards, or are we having Accra Hearts of Oak and Asante Kotoko to compete at global standards.
But we can train them, can't we?
And that is what George is saying. These days, train
comes with money.
Oh yes.
Okay. So we can spend and
No, but you
put
see,
in resources.
Actually, you know what? And this is the other part. This is the other part of it. That you have fantastic Accra Hearts of Oak players in Emmanuel Nete, in Fatal Mohammed, in Salif Ibrahim. But this is the thing. Now, today's local player becomes a foreign player tomorrow. So the base for the national team should be that you must be good enough to be there. Ghana must strive to put the best 11 it can from wherever. If it happens like it happened with the 64 Battalion and with some great Kumasi Asante Kotoko sides, remember, all those sides who had direct access to the national team had really sojourned in Africa. They have played a lot of, they have played at the level and they were almost cutting it at CAF level. That means like the 64 Battalion had won the CAF Champions League. The Kumasi Asante Kotoko teams of those that had also won. They were playing. That's why you see people excelling in Kumasi Asante Kotoko and were excelling in the Black Stars and they were winning trophies at the level. So the team has started, Hearts has started, but you need to give them time to really get to the level. Because if I take Thomas Partey, what Thomas Partey is going through at Arsenal, even the crowd, what he's got to face every day, is very, very different from what a local player is facing here. But all that said, they will get opportunities to show what they have got. But we have to just make sure that we are looking out for a team that is well and good for the international stage. We're not going to bring 5 foreign players or bring 3 foreign players. There are some local players who may be playing well than foreign players. If they prove to the coach that is good enough, they can come up there. At the end of the day, the coach will answer the questions.
And so what then do we do to get these international players to put in their whole body and soul into the match so they can win us the cup that we've been longing for?
Unfortunately for us, as we have seen with the England example yesterday, all the English players, they were very passionate. They didn't win.
Yes, but of course they tried.
Well, they tried. Our players also tried.
They do, but sometimes, I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
So, again, because this is not a hardcore sports show, I'll just say that it's a hydra-headed beast. There's so many factors involved. Let me give you about 2 or 3 that I can. We select players to come and play for the national team, right? How do we ensure that they get into the country? How do we fly them? The standard internationally is that when players are coming to play for their national teams, they've come for footballers by nature, because of injuries and things, you have to fly them business class.
Okay.
So if they are coming and you fly them economy and they are crammed, there's that's why football is money now.
It's
unfortunately,
money. Definitely.
It's unfortunate. All the countries that have won the Africa Cup of Nations in the last 4 editions, you can trace a direct route to. Secondly, I know people are out there who are saying, yeah, but the Black Stars, we have poured money into it. That is another thing. It is about money, but not all about money.
Okay.
It is about investing in, not monetarily, but a certain love for the country, which is what I think you are talking about.
Yeah.
That is why the England manager has been lauded so much, despite the fact that they have lost. Because they say the English team, this English team in particular, represents everything that should be good about a national team. They represent the ideals of England in 2021. They speak against, in their culture, it's not a big deal. So anti-LGBT, they are LGBT inclusive. They are racism, anti-racism as well. They have a player in Marcus Rashford who has used his own salary to feed school children. So people love the team. If you bring it to a Ghanaian context, to bring back the love, I'm sure maybe people will say that, they want to see Black Stars players donated to children's homes. When they come home, they want to see them visiting people. That sort of thing. So what works for us may be what we may be able, or we should tell our Black Stars players to do in addition to the money. And then when they go onto the pitch, after all is said and done, do we have coaches who are good enough? Because as we saw yesterday, you asked me the question. The English team went all the way to the final, but the coach is said to have failed them because he didn't coach them well. In the past 10 years, we have gotten to the AFCON final, the African Cup final, twice. Okay, with Abraham Grant's team. We went all the way to penalties and we lost the penalties. So we didn't win. It didn't mean that our players were not passionate, That year we also pumped a lot of money, but again it came down to luck. In 2010, when Asamoah Gyan Dems were there, we went to the final with a young team just like England. We got to the final. Also, Egypt were slightly better. They had a bit of luck. So sometimes you also need a bit of luck. But I hear what you are saying. Our players need to be passionate. I mean, when people watch them, you should feel like, you know, they love the country and so on and so forth. So it's so many things and not just about the fact that, oh, they don't love the country and all. Yes.
I think the money factor is...
Oh, yes. In fact, it's the money factor that annoys Ghanaians. You know,
you see, Gary, I understand that the money bit is there, but you know, again, what represents passion for anyone could be subjective, because people feel that people have to lie on the floor and be rolling, and when they are heads and all of that. You see, basically, it's the coach having to get the most out of the boys, and that's the story. We have had an even dangerous situation than England, albeit that we have won the Africa Cup of Nations 4 times. Gary mentions the 2015, and he was there live in Equatorial Guinea. I don't want to think about 2015, because 2015 we went ahead 2-0 in the penalty shootout. The third penalty should have been the end for us, and then we lost out. So it's really difficult. But Gary makes the very important point: do we have a technical team that is good enough to more or less match boot for boot when we go out there to the Africa Cup of Nations? Because it will come down to tactics. Because in every team, they have a little Thomas Partey. In every team, they've got some Kudus Mohammed. Every team in Africa today has got 1, 2, 3 stars who play outside. Therefore, it is how much you can make or get out of your team that will ultimately make you win a competition, more or less. Explore the flaws of your opponent and apply your strengths. And that's the only way you can win. That's the only way. It's down to the technical managers, because the technical team end up choosing the players. So if you choose a player, it's like if you choose a player who comes and is not playing well, you don't look at me and say the player is not playing well. I say, why did you choose him? You should know that before you get him into the squad.
Yeah.
That's why we are paying you the money for it, right?
Let's see how it goes, and all the best to the Black Stars. We hope that you're learning some lessons from England. Thank you, Gary L. Smith. Thank you, George Adu Jr. We are still waiting for the chaotic shout shortly, so please come back home early. And for more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. There's Joy Sports link. There's more sports there. This is the polls.
5 minutes gone and it's still coming home 1-0 against Italy. England all the way. Let me speak to a few of them here. Some of them support England, some of them support Italy. They say it's going Rome, but we will see at the end of the match where the ball goes, whether it's going home or it's going Rome. I mean, where is it going?
I think it should go to Rome. But England is playing some tactical game that I don't understand. So we watch and see what's going to happen. But now England is leading, so let's see what happens at the end of the 90 minutes.
Which team do you support?
Italy.
You support Italy. But now you are not sure whether Italy can take it to Rome.
He's playing the game that I want, so there's still chance for them. So let's see what happens.
Tell me the truth. Which team do you support?
I'm supporting the Azuri.
Okay, so is it at this point? Is it still going Rome or it's coming home?
Well, the thing is, I mean, England is leading 1-0, but hopefully in the second half we'll come back strongly. We'll equalize, get the winning goal, and then it's going back to Rome.
You are so hopeful.
Yes, I'm very hopeful that it's going back to Rome.
It's going
to Rome.
We shall see at the end of the day. Is it going home or it's going Rome? Oh my goodness. Oh, where are the England guys? Is it going home or Rome? No. You don't know where it's going. Oh God, he's not confident. He's not confident. Goodness.
Britain.
Yeah. England.
Yes, England.
The way I'm matching it, Rome and
before I match, now cap on Britain. Yes.
It's Rome for then now.
A friend said, Pope Wada. You're 100%. It's now we go.
Yeah, England. Straight is going home. Which team do you support?
I support the football, and obviously the best team has to win.
Okay.
As long as what I see is, as of now, England is playing well, so probably they will win. Yeah.
Tell me the truth from your heart. Which team do you support?
Yeah, obviously it's for me it's Italy.
It's Italy.
Yeah, but the way the England is playing, probably they will win.
They will win.
Yeah.
So you agree it's going home?
Yes.
Sing with me. It's coming home.
No, I can't sing that because because I support Italy. Yeah.
Well, but I like your honesty. That
Yes.
England will be a winner.
Yeah, because they are playing well, no doubt.
Champions. We'll see how it goes. Hello, what's your name?
My name is Dom. Call me Dom.
Dom.
But it's all about Rome. It's all about Rome. We've said it before.
Why do you think it's Rome? Why do you think it's Rome?
It's Rome.
They've scored you one.
It's coming Rome.
After 45 minutes.
Probably because we didn't start so well, but I think that we've gotten back onto the game. And see, it's coming Rome. Anyhow it is, it's coming Rome.
All right, we'll find out after 90 minutes. We'll find out after 90 minutes.
We have struggled a lot, you know, and then the English Premier League is the toast of the world. Without football, without the English Premier League, there's no football in the world. Yes, so they have to win so that we rejuvenate the football in the world. Anybody who loves football must support England for them to win.
So sing it for me.
Yeah, we are winning. We are winning. It's coming home. It's coming home.
Coming home. It's coming home.
Yeah, it's coming
So this is where we're going to be bringing you live commentary on Joy 99.7 FM. We promise you that we're going to be bringing you the live coverage from Wembley. It's England up against Italy. This is the final of the 2020 Euro, and it's going to be heavily fought. So this is where we are. This is where I'm going to be sitting to do the commentary for you. It's very, very simple as that. Of course, Ghana, MBS TV, this is what's going to be coming. I've got the first screen here that's going to be giving me all the statistics that I need. At the moment, we know who the referee for the game is, John Pipers. And then over here is my little screen where I'm going to be, you know, more or less confirming things. Even though I can watch live here, I'll be confirming a lot of the things here, and I'll be broadcasting your way. This is the little connect machine that's going to be sending the voice here to you guys. So just a very simple commentary box, and we're looking to bring you the commentary. The truth is, we'll be faster than television. You have to accept that. So even though you're watching the Joy Prime television, it's important that you stick your earpieces into your head, right, or into your ears, so that you can listen to commentary, because it will blast gold before you see it on television. More to come here in terms of our coverage. Joy 99.7 FM and Multimedia Group. I'm here to bring you everything that you need. Stick and stay.
So you saw sights and sounds from supporters in the 45th minute of the Euro 2020 match, and you saw George Addo Jr. wrapping it up beautifully for us there. That's how we wrap up the Pulse this afternoon. Many thanks for watching. I've indeed enjoyed my almost 2 hours stay with you. Let's talk showbiz is happening. So enjoy the rest of our program.